right, welcome to a bonus episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Tammy.
And I'm Eddie.
And this episode is really special because, of course, we're going to be talking about BTS. But we're going to be talking about certain things that they've done. So over the summer, they kind of went on a week-long trip to the country outside of Seoul, South Korea. And they actually taped themselves in the country in this very nice house that I know I'd never be able to afford, but it looks really great.
It does, and it was beautiful. And I am going to say that one day I will be able to afford something like that. I cannot pronounce where it is. I'm not
having big dreams, right?
You got to dream big. You got to dream big. But
keep my dreams a little simple.
Can't pronounce this. I can't pronounce where this place was. I don't want to chop and screw it up, but it was very beautiful. And maybe because the Airbnb dude or whoever owns it makes so much money, they're all booked out just because of BTS. They might lower the price for it, so we'll be able to afford it.
I doubt it, seeing as how BTS stayed there for a whole week. I'm sure the price has increased after it was brought to the attention of ARMY that you can rent out this house just to be like, oh my God, I'm sleeping in the bed that Jimin slept in. I'm sleeping in the tent that Jin slept in as he walked out every single morning to go beat up the punching bag before he started his day.
But was that a BTS owned tent, or was that tent part of the property? I have a feeling that was a Jin thing.
I don't know, but I feel like if it was part of the episode, they need to make sure they have that tent available for anyone that rents that house from here on out. Just be like, leave the tent behind. Don't take the tent with you. Leave the tent.
I'm going to have to say, take your own tent just in case, because something tells me that was just something. Something tells me that was strictly a Jin thing. But yeah, it seemed like it was just peaceful and relaxing, and it kind of made me wish that we had the ability to do things like that, to do more of that. I really would want to find a place I trusted to do a staycay during these COVID
away
times.
From everyone and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, just to decompress, get the thoughts together, and it looks like a really good bonding moment. I think it did what it was supposed to do, because if you look at how they were during the Festa, this year's Festa,
which is the BTS anniversary of when they first debuted.
Yeah, their anniversary Festa or party. You did see a disconnect, especially when you get to the letters. And it's understandable, because that was really when people were going through it, because Rona and quarantine had first started and it was going on longer than we had expected. And, I think we were all under the impression that this was going to be like a month or two. And then the longer it went on, the more depressed and, we all got. So I think it did what it was supposed to do, and served its purpose to bringing them back closer together and making and reconnecting.
It rebuilt some friendships and connections, because I know I did this during when Corona first really hit our area, is that I kind of went 0 dark 30. Like we'd never experienced this before, and they've mentioned that as well multiple times in recent interviews, where this is something that they've never been through, and how they responded to it. They only now realize, how isolating they were, and it was to even them towards the other members. So I definitely feel like this made their bond even stronger when they came out of or when they left the vacation house that they had. Definitely. But let's get to some interesting things that happened on In the Soop. So were you into it from the very beginning?
Unlike you, I was.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
I'm just gonna put that out there. No, I was. Like, And I get it. Like, you said you went 0 dark 30. We all did. I've said it a million times. None of us are coming out of this without some form of PTSD. But I really did. I guess because I was living vicariously through them, wishing that, hey, I could just go to some fancy vacation house. But I loved it. From the car trip moments when they starved V.
Oh my God, that was horrible. He was like, I'm hungry. And everybody was just like, V's hungry. And they were like, yeah, he gonna have to eat when we get there. We ain't stopping.
Yeah, and everybody in his car, which was Jimin and J-Hope, they were like, okay, we'll radio them and let you know we're hungry. And then the cruel part was, though, he knew exactly what he wanted to eat. And they were like, oh, okay, we can just stop and get it on the way out. And then everybody was like, no, we'll eat when we get there. And I'm just like,
they were like, no, we're not stopping. We're not stopping.
And the way they said it was like, oh, it's just a 30-minute drive outside the city. No, it was a couple of hours at least. And it's just like
starving.
Oh.
In the passenger seat. I felt so bad for me during that.
I did too, because as we talked about, hey, here in America, we've been like, look, I got the GPS. Me and my crew, we're going to stop and catch up with y'all. We're going to catch up with y'all. We'll meet y'all there.
We all going to the same place, and we all got the same GPS in our Hyundai, so we good.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then another one of my favorites is when Suga's song came on, Dewacha, and they were all just at different points in 3 different cars, they were all singing the song. It seemed like that was like one of the first songs they all decided to put on. And so I really liked it. I was into it from the beginning. What about yourself?
I'll be honest and say that the reason why I first started to watch it, of course, is because it is BTS. And but I think like I have a very honest viewpoint of like my dedication to BTS. I love them, but at the same time, like I'm a little standoffish sometimes because they're so huge. But it took about episode 4. I think that was like the episode where it first showed like the bond that they had and how strong their bond was and how close they were. And when I saw that, like I enjoyed that episode from beginning to end. And I was just like, okay, now I'm into it. So it took episode 4 to really pull me in. Episode 1, 2, and 3, I watched it because it's BTS. But episode 4, I watched it because I started to enjoy like the actual episode. So, it took me a minute, but it was good. Like it was really, really good. And I loved seeing the different roles of the members. Like I've watched so many YouTube videos because I'm addicted to it. And, you get to know their personalities, but actually seeing it with them fully together and kind of being a little bit more open with it, it was great. Like I really loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of think, me, I'm always willing to give stuff a chance, but I kind of took it for what it was, like a reconnection. Even though they talk to each other. I'm thinking it was around the time maybe when they were starting to put together Dynamite. I'm not sure, but
it was before Dynamite. So it was right before they started thinking about the song Dynamite.
Yeah, so they hadn't really been together all day like they would normally be. They were off doing their own thing, so it's kind of like, okay, I took it as the first 3 episodes were them just getting comfortable with each other again, kind of. And because they also say that even though they've traveled together before, aside from touring, this is the first time that they've actually done something like this, and I guess where it was just them and nothing else. Like they didn't have anything else distracting them. It wasn't a big city where they could each go off on their own or get into their groups and 2 people go to a museum, some others go out to eat. It was just them in this isolated place. So I think it was just a kind of showing that those slow bonds of, hey, before we get into this, just kind of filling it out, if that makes sense.
And I love that it really brought attention to certain friendships within the group that don't get that much attention, like V and J-Hope. I love the car ride that they took, and them just spending the day together, and just enjoying
eating burgers and dancing
and dancing in the parking lot and just taking a walk along the water. Like I thought that was really, really awesome, because although we do know that they're all really, really close, certain members are closer to other members, right? And then there's other ones where they don't have that as much of a bond as other ones do. And so it was nice to see those groups like come together and really connect. So like seeing Jin and J-Hope when they went on their jog, I was just like, wait, like y'all really jogging now? And they were like, yeah, like they really went jogging. And then but you know what I noticed is that it was J-Hope. Like I know, like we know J-Hope is closest to he's closest to RM, Sugar, and Jimin. But I never really get to see him with JK or with Jin as much. So during this whole thing, like it was nice to see the bond that he has with those three, compared to like me always seeing the bonds that he has with the other members of the group. So that was really nice to see. Like he's really close with all of them, and yeah, I like that, because I love J-Hope. So it was nice to see their connection and their bond with the other members rather than the ones that we always see them with.
Yeah. Speaking of Jin, I must say that. Yes, Precious. I must say that my appreciation for Jin has grown as my love of BTS has grown, and but this In the Soop has cemented it. Like just really getting to see Jin and who he is as a person and know a little bit more about him, and he really is the young Maknae. Like Jin, we say Sugar has no fucks to give, like the swag king, and that's true. But
that's public no fucks. Jin gives no fucks no matter what.
Yeah, you realize Jin is truly the king of no fucks given. Jin marches to the beat of his own drum and apologizes
when he wants to do it.
No one.
Firecrackers. He wakes up at 7 a.m. He wants to like pop some firecrackers. He gonna pop some firecrackers even though everybody else is sleeping.
They weren't just sleeping, they were hung over sleeping. That was the night that they were hung over. But what really got me with Jin is every morning, as we stated, Jin slept in a tent, and I love that. Okay. So he slept in a tent, and every morning he would stumble out of this tent and
always made a comment about how hot he was.
Yes, and how hot he was stumbling out of this tent. There was a punching bag set up for JK. Jin would take one of those stretch rollers, and he would either kick the punching bag or he would hit it every morning, like out of routine, clockwork, with this stretch roller. And I'm just like, it was so random, and you're like, what the fuck? But when he didn't do it in the last episode, I missed it. I'm like,
yeah, like I was just like, wait, hold up. And I felt like he paused for a minute, like he realized that he didn't do his normal routine, but he'd already passed the punching bag, so he wasn't gonna go back. So he just kept going. But I was just like, hey, punching bag now.
But on that morning at 7:00, he decided to do something just as random. Go fly a kite. Like
after he took a shower.
Or try to fly a kite.
He decided to go fly a kite in the bright morning sun.
And even though this is a relationship we see, I love seeing more of the odd couple. Like I love Jin and Sugar's relationship.
Oh, their bond is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And I love the fact that Jin loves to fish, but he's a horrible fisherman.
He never caught anything.
And when and he threatened baldness on the guy, on the cameraman, on one of the staff, like for not helping him. But I love when he and Sugar went out fishing. He goes, "I think we picked the wrong spot, Yoongi," and Sugar goes, "No, it's just us." Like his commentary where he was fishing was like, "I'm supposed to be catching fish, not the ground." it was amazing. And so yeah, Jin definitely cemented his status to me.
He moved up
I
he
felt
moved
even
up
more.
on my members list. He definitely moved up on my members list, because I'll be
Yes.
honest and say that Jin was at the bottom of the list. Oh, well, he was at the semi bottom of the list. He was second to last. And, and we'll talk about that later. But he was at the second to last, and he has sure enough definitely moved up on the list, because it was just awesome getting to know who he was as a person, because they don't really put as much attention on him. And I'm just like, y'all need to.
Because he's worldwide handsome. He doesn't need the attention. He just kisses you, sends you air kisses, and just is like, hey, I'm handsome. What else do you need
One
to
other
know?
thing that I really loved was kind of seeing the other talents of the members. Like, I did not realize that Sugar was as an amazing of a cook as he was, and that he actually cooks all the time for them. Like, when they want to cook something, Sugar's usually the one that's actually cooking for them. And it was just awesome to see. I'm just like, wow, like, he can really like throw down. Okay. And he didn't trust the rest of them with any type of weapons whatsoever. So he did it all himself. He was just like, oh, we need to fire up the cauldron. I'll do it. Just give it to me.
Yes.
Give it to me.
And you asked. And you had the nerve to ask, why don't they have knives? Why didn't they do their knives? And my response to you was, because it's BTS.
Have a knife, though. They did have a knife.
They had a knife. They had one knife,
cutting the melons.
Yeah, but they didn't have like
knives,
or they were all dirty. But you were like,
knives anywhere in the houses that they were staying in. No steak knives whatsoever. It is hilarious how they have like no possibility of weapons, but it's only certain members that they don't trust. Like, I would never trust RM with any type of weapon, because he is the clumsiest genius I have ever seen in my entire life. Yes, I said it. He's an actual genius, but he's an idiot as well. Like, it's really cute. It's really cute. I love RM.
Well, he's the one who breaks the screen door. So
he breaks everything
just by opening it.
He breaks everything. There is not a moment that can happen with BTS without RM breaking something. Another thing that I really loved was how respectful the younger members were. Like, we compared this, right? We were talking about how teenagers are in America, or how we were when we were teenagers, compared to how they were in their 20s with the older members, where they were being woken up out of their sleep to go get stuff from the other house, and they actually would do it. And I'm just like, we would be like, your legs ain't broke. Like, what's wrong with your hands? Like, you can get it yourself. And no, they just did it. Like, even if they didn't want to do it, they still just did it. So that was I love that. Like, that's one thing I love about their culture. I know it can be annoying, but I think that's more my American mindset of, I just wouldn't be on that level. But I really do love how respectful they are to each other, and to the young line when they need something done. Like, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So speaking of other talents, now we know JK they don't call him the golden matinee for nothing. But we actually got to see him do something besides sing and dance. And, he cooked, and he made a sauce from scratch for the chicken. And at first, and I love JK, his response for everything is watch the video. Like, when he wanted to learn how to help Jin cut the fish when they were making sushi, he watched a video on YouTube. Kind of reminds me of my mom, because she's like that, watch the video for everything. When he was first starting to make the sauce, he was like, I'm going to watch the video. And then he was like, nah, this isn't working for me. So he just kind of winged it, and they say it still turned out good. But, and we know that he's an artist, and we actually got to see that put on display. And he kept saying that, he wanted to be the Korean Bob Ross. I think he's well on his way. That painting was gorgeous.
Both of them were. Both of his paintings were really, really, really good. And I you know me, I JK fan, or I wasn't a JK fan. We'll talk about that. But I've always acknowledged the fact that he's very, very, very talented. He's a very extremely talented young man, and I hate it. But I do acknowledge the fact that he's very, very talented. His whole family is full of artists, though. They mainly get it from his mom, like their mom, because his brother is also an artist as well. So I guess it just runs in the family. But yeah, like he's top notch, like all around. Like he's really, really, really awesome. But
yeah. And RM's dot painting, it seemed tedious,
yeah, I didn't know
but
what
it was
going to
gorgeous
end up
once
being,
he finished.
but it turned out really good.
Yeah. And they said it was the view from his room, so I like that. And even J Hope's painting was cute once they fixed it.
It was trash.
I liked it once they fixed it. It was cute. It wasn't. It was art, okay? And art is very subjective sometimes, but it was cute once they fixed it.
It was trash, and he knew it was trash.
One of the other bonding moments I loved is when everyone but J-Hope did the wood carving.
And he's the one who said he wanted to do it.
And he kept saying, okay, I'm going to carve wood today. I'm going to do the wood carving. So Jimin, Suga, and Jin actually sat down to do the wood carving. And Jin was trying to make chopsticks. What did he make? He made chopsticks in some sort of bowl.
He ended up kind of messing up his chopsticks, but he did make a bowl that he ended up using once and then throwing away.
But it was funny because after that, every time someone said they wanted to try wood carving, Sugar's first response was, "No, don't do it. It's horrible. It sucks."
Like, no. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. It is nothing like what you think. It's
he was like, "We did it so you don't have to."
But JK actually sat down, and I guess maybe he didn't finish, but he actually ended up watching a video, like you said, and then doing his own wood carving just by himself, just chilling at the table by himself, carving his wood. And he's very, very focused. Like that's a really good trait to have, is how focused he is when he wants to learn something or he wants to do something. He can be very focused on getting it done. So that was really, really, that was really cool.
And I think the biggest relationship moment or takeaway from this was what happened between JK and B. It seemed like that the disconnect, it wasn't even just from the Rona, they said. They had been disconnected for a while. And this gave them, their little quote unquote date night gave them the opportunity to reconnect, and it seems like it worked. But I thought that was cute, and they really had a great conversation, it seems. And I'm glad that we weren't privy to a lot of that conversation, so that it was some real stuff being hashed out and worked out there. And
I love how how Jimin tricked him into going because kind of how he just kind of goes, sometimes he just goes along with what Jimin says. So Jimin is just like, "Oh, you're staying in the floating house." And I'm just like, "Of course you know that." And he's just like, "Oh, it's leaking." And even as he's walking outside, following Jimin, he says, "But it didn't even rain today."
Yeah, like what? How? Because he's like, "Is it from the rain?" And then he at first he's like, "Yeah, okay, it's from the rain." And then once he's thinking about it, he's like, because he really wanted to go boxing. He had his boxing gloves on, and then he was like, "But it didn't rain." And then when he gets them out to like the place was set up, I guess the picnic area by the river, and B has this cute little quote unquote date night set up for them.
And
just
Jimin was like,
and all the chaos.
And he was just like, "I'm gonna be over there. Bye." Just like walked away.
Bye. And they talk, and all the chaos going on around them, and I think that's also a sign of respect because everybody else in America, we all would have been trying to interrupt the conversation, but for the most part, the members left them alone to just talk out whatever it was.
They didn't leave them though. I think there was a reason why J-Hope and Jimin stayed outside through the whole thing. Like they actually didn't leave them. They were just kind of doing their own thing on the side.
Yeah, they were all out there, but they left them to their conversation is what I'm trying to say. I know they didn't leave because it was chaos. You could see them all playing or hear them in the background. But so that was really cool. There was another one that I liked. Oh, goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Besides Sugar and
Jin's whole moment when Sugar said, "I'm choosing to not listen to you."
Ignore
Refusing
you?
to ignore
Yes,
you.
that
And then he lost the
that
game
was
when he did not actually follow the advice of Jin.
who is not only the oldest but a gamer pro. Like Jin will tell you in multiple interviews, if he has a day off, he's spending 20 hours of that
Playing
day
games.
gaming.
That's all he will do.
He's like, I order food and I play games all day. So he is the gaming king. But yeah, I loved In the Soop. I thought it was great.
Ended up being a really it was great to see them, just them together without like contrived like dramas or whatever like that. Like when they do BTS Run or Run BTS, whichever one is called, and you have like actual like activities that they have to do. But with this one, all they did was tell the staff members what they were thinking of doing when they got there. Every single thing that they had on their list was provided for them, and then they were left to their own devices. And it was very sparse staff. Of course, you saw them every once in a while blurred out in the background, but it was really sparse staff. They were at a house like down the hill a little bit, and so it was really just BTS on their own, like, you know, doing whatever they wanted to do. And it ended up not being boring to just see them reading a book. Sugar reading a book near the river, like that was nice and peaceful, like, you know. So,
and whenever someone got too close, he would get annoyed and be like, I need quiet.
And just get up and
it kind of mimics like RM's first day. Like when they first got there, that was all RM was trying to do, was just find some place to decompress, read a book, and he couldn't. And you see him going all over the place, and then all of a sudden, Sugar's like, "Oh, I get it now."
So it was really cool. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it from even as I wasn't fully into it with the first 3 episodes. I still was just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, this is BTS, like this is them. But the ending was just awesome. Like, you know, them having their bonding moments. They ate every meal together. There's only one meal where one member missed it, but other than that one meal, they always ate together. I thought that was amazing. Like, that's something that I've always wanted to like have. That I guess we just don't do that kind of stuff in America. But even at the end when they were recording the theme song that they made up while at the house. Even like the ending when they were like all playing around and you saw them in their element. Even with that, you saw Sugar in his element where he's the ultimate producer of the group, and you saw him sitting there like producing and telling them what he needed. And you know, it was really, really cool. Like, if you get an opportunity to watch the episodes, I would say go for it. Like, if you are even a small smidge fan of BTS, you will enjoy watching this docuseries that they did over, you know, I think it was like 6 or 7 days. Like, it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I feel that they came out closer than when they arrived. They definitely came out of this even as closer members. But at the same time, one thing I love is they also, I think, came out more mature and purposeful on what they wanted, right? Because that's one thing that quarantine, I feel, has done for them, is shown them what they want and them going after it. Like, no side things. Like, they're just going to be focused on what they want to achieve and they're going to go for it, because quarantine really jacked up their plans this year and they had to revise their plans. And I think In the Soop showed that, yeah, BTS 2021, yeah, they're everything that they want, they're coming for it.
And may they get it. They deserve it. They deserve all the things. And that does it for this special episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, peace out.